What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Telling Stories with the good old punk rock dad. It's also going to be on the punk rock review, man. I've kind of pivoted over to my new channel and have started doing all my punk rock and punk adjacent content over there, just solely for the fact that that's where my uh, heart truly lies. I mean, I don't really want to do other content. I was doing it because it was kind of fun that a guy from my part of the scene or whatever you want to call it was listening to like a bunch of rap and pop songs that I'd never really heard, and it's still fun. I enjoyed it. I found a bunch of artists that I really love, but when I finally put this other channel together, it really started clicking for me as far as enjoying myself, and I think that's pretty important when you're spending this much time doing anything. You have to enjoy it. Anyways, I say all that to welcome this young man to the show. Michael, correct? I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, if I put his name in my phone wrong, I'm gonna be so pissed at myself. Anyways, this is a local boy, man, here in Houston. He plays with a band. POPPERZ bass is what he plays. We kind of bonded over the fact, actually, he's got like this tattooed on his forearm, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So like that's I just happened to park behind him, and I'm talking to him, so I got out. I was like, hey, what's up, man? Like it was just kind of one of those things. And I genuinely like your band, so I just wanted to get on and talk for a little bit about
Thank you.
a number of things. You're very welcome, man. I it's not often that I see a bunch of youngsters that like tell me, oh, we play this kind of music, and then not only are they accurately describing what they play, but they're as good at it as good at it as they claim to be, or whatever, however you want to call it. Well, I got a couple of songs from your band that I filmed that night.
Yeah?
So I went and saw these guys open up for Days and Days. Whenever I saw the footage that I put up of Days and Days, I just wanted to I haven't got around to it really. I checked out part of one of the songs, and it sounded like maybe the sound guy at Trip Six didn't have everything set up all the way yet, or it could have been my phone because it sounded a little funny.
No, they're still trying to figure out stuff over there.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
But they're getting better. I feel like every time we play there, the sound gets better.
Okay.
So
Well, I liked being there. They were really accommodating to my child, which I thought was just
yeah,
on another level of cool, because I have one kid on the spectrum, one that wants to go to shows, and she's only 8. So like it's really hard to find people that care enough to be accommodating. So
yeah, the owners of Trip Six are like some of the nicest people I know.
yeah. Oh,
They're
when I
awesome.
figured out that they were the owners, I was like, oh, you're awesome. So, but yeah. So, anyways, you were telling me your band was like sort of like Rancid style punk, and uh, well, that is something I'm obviously interested in, and aside from anything else, I just wanted to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better. I'm trying to get more active in the scene again. I've been in it my whole life, but it's been a while since I've been active in the scene down here in Houston, and been going to shows regularly, been putting out records. I've done all this before. This isn't my first go around, so I'm just trying to get people that I'm familiar with. I got a couple of old school cats I'm fixing to get on here. That's gonna Anybody from the old hardcore scene is gonna flip when they see these dudes. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We got lots of messed up stories, funny stuff too. But we wanted to talk a little bit today. We're gonna talk about his band a little bit, but we wanted to start the show off with Rancid is a common thread we've got, and
yeah.
their sound has changed a lot over the years. They put out a new song a couple of weeks ago. We want to talk about the progression of their sound, all the way from like Op Ivy back up to now, is what I assumed you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to real quick. I just wanted to ask, like, so you play bass. Did you start playing bass because of Rancid, or was it just because you like picked up an instrument and enjoyed playing it?
So like I actually started playing guitar with a buddy of mine in high school, and we were playing. He's like, you know what? It'd be way easier to get a band together if you switch to bass, because let's face it, you're not that good at guitar. And so I switched over.
Well,
He
you're
said it
very good at
nicely
bass.
though. So I switched over to bass, and I've always loved like Matt Freeman, his bass lines.
I mean,
So it's
kind of
like
hard not to.
yeah, right. And it just went from there. I just been playing bass for
Nice.
almost 7 years now, I think. So yeah.
That's
So
rad, man. Well, you're very good at playing bass,
thank
so
you.
I mean, it worked out. And also, that's true though. When you get starting a band, everybody wants to be a vocalist and everybody wants to play guitar. So, what made you want to? Because I asked you if you had an idea of a topic. You're the one that kind of threw out like the progress of their sound. Excuse me, the progression of their sound. Is there any particular reason why?
I don't know. They came out with a new song. I was like, that's a topic that people usually don't do when a song band releases a new song, So it's just like, why not?
Well, I
And
immediately said yes because I thought it was a great topic because I hadn't thought about it either. I'm going to do a ranking video of their albums, but like the progression of their sound, that's really interesting because it starts
it's
40
definitely changed.
freaking years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And just listening even from their first album to Let's Go is vastly different. Especially
Well,
just the addition of Lars really changes it up. It's pretty awesome actually.
are you familiar with the? So I assume you know quite a bit about them. I
Yeah.
mean, if you got a tattoo on your arm of them. So did you know that? I didn't know this until I guess fairly recently. I mean, it's been some years now, but that Lars didn't even really have a lot to do with Let's Go. I didn't know that.
Really?
That's why it still sounds so much like their first record. If you go back and listen to Let's Go in 93, it's way closer to 93 than it is Out Come the Wolves. And I didn't even think about that because when I bought them, I got them kind of together. Out Come the Wolves and Let's Go were kind of like a pair for me. And I always listened to them. They were like the same length. So I dubbed them on a 90-minute tape. And I had like one on one side, one on the other. And I would just listen to it over and over and over. And bro, man, the hardships of having AA batteries in my pocket. But but they sound very different. And if you listen to those records in a row, it's far closer to 93 than it is Out Come the Wolves.
I think that like that first album is like way faster and like compared to Let's Go. I mean, there's definitely, I mean, there's like 23 songs on Let's Go.
It's so crazy.
You know, and I think there's like 15 or more on the first album. So they just pump out music.
Well, their albums are, they have, but I like that they're never like, even Life Won't Wait, which is like, just in my opinion, just a masterpiece of songwriting. It may not be my favorite Rancid album, but it's just, I mean, it's ridiculous how eclectic the sounds are on that record. I mean, it's absolutely just, it blows my mind. But even that record, it's got like 20 songs.
They're not bad. I don't know any bad Rancid song besides one from Let the Dominoes Fall, and it's called LA River, and it's where Matt Freeman,
love that song so much.
What? Matt Freeman goes boom shaka laka laka laka.
Yes,
boom.
Bro.
I hate that song.
Dude, so I have the most unpopular Rancid opinions though, man, because I absolutely hate the self-titled 2000 album. I don't even own it. Really? I don't want to own it. It's garbage, bro. I tried. No, I always get ostracized for that. I didn't know that was an unpopular opinion until recently, man. And
most people
like real
love
recently.
It. Like people that don't like even Rancid get it, bro. Like it.
Like, how can you listen to that record and think it even sounds like Rancid? Because it doesn't. I tried to listen to it about 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't even make it through it. I got through like 6 or 7 songs and was like, nah, this shit is terrible.
It's definitely more hardcore, and like, I don't know. It's some of like the craziest bass lines I've heard Matt do.
So like now, if you're looking at it from that perspective, you're probably right. I don't. I look at it from a vocalist perspective because that's what I've always done. It's got Lars's worst vocal performances on it. It's got the worst lyrics on it. It's
the lyrics like are a little lazy. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to Rob, my other buddy that I do this show with all the time, and we basically came to the conclusion that that's their midlife crisis record. It's the one where they were like halfway through their career, and people were like, "Oh, you sold out. You're fake. Look what Life Won't Wait. It's all this reggae stuff." And they were like, "Oh yeah, we can show you we're still punk rock." And look, dude, everybody has that like self-conscious stuff going on. Everybody has feelings, and so no matter how punk rock you are, if somebody starts calling you a poser, whether you are or not, you're gonna feel some kind of way about it, man. Yeah. So they started playing together, specifically Matt and Tim, because they've been in the band since like '84. Like they were like,
they were playing forever, and they're childhood best friends.
Yeah, which I think is awesome. I think it's so great.
Right. And Tim basically, he was a junkie, and he was just not doing good. And Matt was like, "Come on, man, let's play again," because this is after Off Ivy, of course.
Yeah, this is about like 1989, 1990, right?
Probably 90, I think.
90, 91, maybe.
I think 90. I don't know, 89.
I know it was a little while because their first album didn't come out until 93, but their first 7-inch came out, I think, in 92. 91 even.
I have no clue.
It's that one with the like Molotov cocktail in the front of it. Have you ever heard that album, that 7-inch?
Yeah, with the gun, right?
No. It's I don't think so. Shit, I might be wrong. But well, go ahead and continue your thought.
Yeah. So they got together and they just made Rancid. But before they did Rancid, they were gonna do Dance Hall Crashers. You remember that band?
So they did do Dance Hall Crashers.
Yeah, but then they left it.
Correct.
And they did Rancid, which I think is such an interesting like imagine Dance Hall Crashers, or if Rancid was called Dance Hall Crashers, it'd be.
I prefer the name Rancid.
Yeah, it would not be the same. I mean, I like Dance Hall Crashers,
I do too.
but
I do too.
I prefer Rancid.
By a lot, actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so they started playing music again. I'm trying to find this 7-inch. I got it right here somewhere. So they started playing music again, and Tim was just a lush, bro. I don't even know that he was doing that many drugs. I was listening to a thing he was talking the other day on this.
I think he just drank a lot.
It was drinking. He was drinking like a lot, to where he couldn't even function.
Yeah, like a stroke or something.
Bro, I know a lot of people like that have had those problems. I mean, I've had a lot of friends die, unfortunately, and man, maybe I don't have it sitting around here somewhere. I thought it's around here somewhere. I got a bunch of records, but no, this one right here. Does it have a gun on it? No, it's the Molotov cocktail. Have you ever heard this?
Oh no, what?
Bro, hold up. We'll fix that. You have a tape deck?
No.
I'll have to fix that too.
I've
I got
never
4
seen
of them,
that
dude.
in my life. I've never even seen a picture of that.
Wow, man, I feel so old right now.
What?
It's 5 songs, bro. It's
Really?
their first release.
What's one of the songs? Like,
it's got I'm Not the Only One. It's got Battering Ram. It's got The Sentence, Media Controller, and Idle Hands.
I don't know any of those.
What? Dude, that blows my mind.
I got a Rancid bumper sticker, man.
Dude, that makes me so happy though, because I never get to like show people stuff, and I never know something that somebody else. I'm not that guy, bro. I have a terrible memory, and I don't really pay a lot of attention. So,
oh man,
hold on, let's see if it's on their, if any of it's on their B-sides and C-sides album. I don't think it is, man. Sick Sick World's an awesome song. That's on there. Let's see.
They have a B-sides and C-sides compilation. I know that all the moon. What does it look like? Oh, I've seen that.
Okay, yeah. Dude, you blew my mind with that one. I was like, no.
But a fake fan over here.
Nah, bro, there's no such thing as a fake fan. I can't stand people that say that stuff, man. You know how many years it's taken me to accrue all the information I've got on this band? I'm still learning stuff, man.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah,
it's 4 people's lives, you know. 5 as long as you include their old drummer. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 people you have to like really learn about if you want to.
Like when I was living in New York, and I was like studying music theory and stuff to try to get better at playing bass.
Whoa.
And I was like going to the jazz shows and stuff. And like, I don't know anything about jazz, man. I grew up listening to punk rock, and these people would be like, "You don't know Charlie Parker?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, like Rancid's the first band I ever remember listening to. How am I gonna know like Charlie Parker?" Like,
I'm jealous of that.
Like, I don't know Miles Davis. Like, the first bands I remember listening to are like the Stillers, like Beastie Boys, Rancid. That's just
amazing.
That's just what I grew up on. But I had never gone to a show. So my first show was when I was 17. It was a Subhuman show here in Houston at Walters downtown, I think. Yeah,
I used to go to Walters on Washington, man. I'm old, bro. You know what though, man? I've had an awesome life, dude. I'm not complaining. I'm just recognizing the facts, man. It is what it is, dude.
I turned 24 on Friday. This past Friday, I did.
Oh, dude, happy belated birthday, man! I didn't realize that was your birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a young guy.
It's pretty young, dude. I mean, shoot, enjoy it. You only get it one time. Okay, so we got Op Ivy with Matt and Tim. They just blow up and decide that that's not really what they're trying to do. And so they disband, and then that's when Tim gets his drinking problem. Really, is after Operation.
He's got nothing to do.
Crazy is that?
Yeah, he's got nothing to do, so he's just gonna drink. I mean, I get it.
I 1000% get it because
I was living in New York. I didn't have a band. I was drinking nonstop, man. It's just what happens, you know.
Yeah, man.
When you don't have what you want to do.
Idle hands are the devil's playthings, and that's a true story. Yeah. So they start Rancid, but they're not real serious. I think they started Rancid in like 90. I think you're right. They started it pretty early, but they didn't really start doing anything with it. Like Matt said, I'll play temporarily with you, and you have to get a year clean, and then I'll like officially join it. We'll record some stuff, and we'll get to doing it. And then, you know, that happens. Tim gets the year.
Yeah.
They go and they played a show in Cali. I want to say it was at that place in Berkeley.
Gilman?
I think it was at Gilman.
Probably.
And Tim was talking to Billy Joe Armstrong and said, "Hey, man, we're playing a show.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to do it? Yeah. Would you like to do a second guitar?" And Billy Joe's like, "Hell yeah." And there's photos of that. They played together on stage as a 4-piece for the first time.
That'd been crazy.
And that is what Man, I wish I could have been at that. Well,
I
that's
just
one of the
uploaded it
beautiful
anyway.
things about their early stuff, and I'm
It's
gonna
very
include Op
raw.
Ivy in their early
Yeah.
stuff because it had Matt in it,
Same
but
band.
and Tim was the primary songwriter and all this stuff. So they go from that sound, which is like honestly, like I've never heard an album that sounded like that before and since, and it's one of these
And
things
it's
where
27 songs.
no matter how many times I hear it, it still sounds so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what changed because their sound changes
They just
drastically.
stopped doing ska. That's it.
Yeah, they took the ska out, but I
Yeah.
think they took out Jesse Michaels, who had a lot of influence, and I think he was
I think he was done. I think he wanted to do his own thing.
well, yeah. There's a lot of
'Cause he
reasons, and I'm not
started
gonna.
doing-
But that's a whole other
Yeah,
topic we don't need to
yeah.
get into right now. But like,
Common
but
Rider
taking
and
him
all
out and then adding Brett Reed to the band, and then starting a 3-piece and playing this like super fast street punk.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome. It's actually
And
really good.
here's the thing, even in like street punk, Rancid still sounds like nobody else.
Yeah,
How weird is it, dude?
because
It's Tim Armstrong.
Tim is a multi-Grammy winning musician.
Yeah, but it's also his vocals, dude. Like it's the way he
Yeah.
sings. Like everything
Yeah.
about it is different. In '93, they put out their self-titled album. It was just furious street punk.
Yeah.
And then, do you know about Radio and who wrote that song?
Didn't Billy Joe write that?
Yes, and so that's a lot of why "Let's
Yeah.
Go" sounds why it sounds like it sounds. To my
Yeah.
understanding,
The
he had a
production
fair
went up
amount
a
of
lot.
input in at least a few of those songs, and so it sounds
I think I've
a
heard
little
that
different.
too.
Let's talk about "Let's Go" for just another minute because I don't know how much input Lars had on that album, but he
No, I
had
don't
to
know.
have at least a little bit, and he also did record on it and sing the vocals.
Yeah, his voice is perfect for that
I
album.
think he recorded on it. I don't even know if he did. I would imagine he had a little input, but dude, look
Yeah.
at the change in sound from that to "And Out Come the Wolves."
It's
He had a
production mainly,
major,
but
he had
yeah,
do what?
I think it's mainly in the production quality.
Of what?
Like, oh wait, are you saying "And Out Come the Wolves"?
What's your question?
No, I'm not asking a question.
Okay, but I'm saying like what production quality are you talking about? Let's Go, Out Come the
Oh,
Wolves.
like between the two albums.
Oh
like,
no,
just,
dude, the
like,
songwriting
quality.
is vastly different.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's a whole different thing. They add the ska for "Out Come the Wolves." They didn't have
That's
that
true.
in "Let's Go." So like
Yeah, they
so that's
started.
but
Yeah,
that's when they really formed like the Rancid sound is "And
yeah.
Out Come the Wolves," because before that, other bands could emulate their sound pretty well. But dude, there's like 5 or 6 bands that have been very successful that have emulated the Rancid sound and still don't sound like Rancid.
Oh
The
yeah,
Distillers kind of sound like it. The Interrupters kind of sound like it, but none of them.
yeah.
Like and that would even be the case if they didn't have all the input and production and all that stuff from the fellas in Rancid.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I think Distillers is interesting. They're like the more street punk snotty version of Rancid, but with a female lead. Because even the bassist in the Distillers kind of emulates Matt.
Yeah.
So people don't usually make the connection and be like, oh, Distillers is kind of Rancidy, because they really are. And they came out around the Rancid 2000 period too. So, yeah.
I don't understand why anybody ever doesn't understand that. Like it's pretty
Maybe I'm
obvious
the only one that didn't put it together.
because I was around when those albums came out. So when they came out, I remember going, "Oh shit, this is Rancid." Okay.
Well, I was born in '99, so
yeah, bro. No, it made me
thoughts.
feel older than I already feel. But I remember when golly, that's crazy. When it came out though, I remember thinking like, "Oh, this sounds like female Rancid. This is awesome."
Yeah.
And then the Interrupters, I thought, "Oh, here's the second wave of female Rancid. This is awesome."
I feel like the Interrupters are like a replacement for the Distillers since he lost them.
I think they're far more talented, but
The Interrupters?
yes.
Oh yeah, but
I like the songs better on some of the Distillers records.
I
But
don't like their new stuff.
the Distillers.
Oh, sorry, Interrupters.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
That album is a
It's
perfect album.
Their new stuff is so pop. It's like reminds me of Real Big Fish.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue about that because that's silly, but that surprises me. Well, I really like that album a lot. It's not my favorite of theirs, but I
like their
That's
first
great.
two, but I don't like this third one they did.
Interesting. Hey man, to each their own, dude. We all like
Yeah.
what we like. But then they add Lars and then they do Let's Go, and that's why I don't think he had a ton of input on the album because, and maybe he did. I don't know. I actually might look into that a little bit more. I imagine if my buddy Rob watches this, he might have some input to give in the comments about that. But
I feel like he did have good input. I
Really?
don't know.
I
I
remember,
don't know.
and I might be mistaken, but I feel like I heard somewhere that he barely had any input on that album.
I just haven't heard that, so maybe
Yeah.
that's why I'm
I mean, this is what,
disagree.
it's that telephone game. You hear it, and somebody tells you
Yeah,
one thing, it turns into something else. But
exactly.
regardless, their sound still was morphing.
Yeah,
And when they
definitely.
put out and Out Come the Wolves in '95 is when
That was Rancid.
that's when we get
Yeah,
the Rancid sound. So like
yeah.
a lot of people that I know that have heard Rancid have never heard Let's Go, self-titled, and you hadn't
Nope.
even heard that 7-inch single. So like, or
No.
EP or whatever other. So
Yeah,
a lot of people don't even know that they had like a full phase, like a
yeah,
full-on 3-year career.
yeah. That's their junior album, if you
Yeah, of
will.
like doing
Yeah,
street punk, good
yeah.
ass, like, and Tim's never changed the way he looks, never changed the way he behaves. So I don't
Nope.
understand all this, you know.
It's just it's good to know that your favorite musicians can evolve and
Correct, I agree.
change over time because
And
that's
then
what you
come
hope.
back to where they were. Dude, this new song that we're about to talk
Yeah,
about in a minute is bananas.
yeah.
So they do in Out Come the Wolves. They incorporate ska. They have a more, I don't know, dude, palatable sound at this point.
You could say that. Yeah.
And it's more. They've also grown as musicians.
Yep.
They've grown as people. Their
Definitely.
lyricism is better. Their storytelling is better.
Yep.
I mean, that's their magnum opus, dude. And Out Come the Wolves will
Yeah.
never be touched, dude. I don't think
That's when Tim starts to talk more about locations. So like I like to say that Rancid is location punk because Tim will just be like, I was on 82nd Street with the laundromat girl, and you're just like, yep, that's every Rancid song.
I love that he does that because it's another
Well,
reason
it
why
makes
they're
it
so
feel
unique.
more real, you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
it's
like
he's telling a story.
yeah. I was gonna say they're iconic storytellers, man.
Yeah.
So we get and Out Come the Wolves, but then we get even crazier, dude. In 1998, they go Life Won't Wait,
I
and
love that album.
this is
It's
one of
so
the
good.
first last things that my dad bought me before he died. So I have a
Oh, nice.
when I went back and listened to Life Won't Wait, I'm doing a ranking albums list right now, and I'm not going to get into that conversation right now, but I will tell you that in my head, had you asked me where does Life Won't Wait stand, is it like top 3 or bottom 3 or middle, I would have said,
Top
oh,
three.
top 3, absolutely.
It's top 3 for sure.
But when listening to it, it's not even in my top half. But let me go ahead and like
what
at the end of that. Well, I mean, I have it on my throat. I clearly love it.
Yeah.
Right? What I was gonna say is that just because that, I mean, dude, the worst Rancid album is still better than most anybody's anything. So
what do you think the worst one is? Or should
2000
we wait
is terrible. It's garbage.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're wrong.
Oh, it's okay. I don't care. Life Won't Wait doesn't have a song that I don't like on it.
Yeah.
But I still don't put it as high up as I do some of the other albums because I enjoy. It's my ranking list,
Okay.
so like,
yeah.
I enjoy something else more. But it's still a 10 out of 10. Like it's still a no skip album.
I feel like
so crazy, dude.
It's a work of art. I'm gonna be honest.
So that's kind of how
and
I
they
feel about it.
recorded that album in 3 different locations. They recorded it
Yes.
in New York, California, and in Jamaica.
In Jamaica, yeah, they did it with
and that's why I
Buju
think
Banton in Jamaica. Bro, trust me, I've been around. Dude. I know about that album, man. I did some looking into that album when it came out.
Me
man.
too. Nice.
But and I listen to reggae a lot, and I know who Buju Banton is, and so like I really just I resonated with that album when it came out. My dad also died, so like that album to me is like
it's harder.
It's like we're going down the Rancid timeline, and I go, yeah, but this is something different for me. Like Life Won't Wait doesn't mean the same thing to me that the other albums do. It has a different, not better or worse, anything. It's just different. So like it like pivots out, and it has its own space that parallels the rest of their stuff.
Yeah, it's its own tier, honestly.
It really is, and it is not even close to my favorite Rancid album, right?
Yeah,
but it's also one of my favorite records of all time. So I don't know how that makes sense, but it does to me.
No, I get it. I get it.
Every song on it is beautiful. It's got dancehall, it's got dub, it's got reggae, it's got street rock, pub rock, punk rock, street punk.
It's got everything.
It's ridiculous, and it's so pretty. Every song on it's so well crafted. But this is an album where they really took some risks. They
really branched out into different genres, and I feel like that made some people mad.
Yes. Well, so that's why I think That's why I think 2000 was such a swing and a miss. Because I don't feel like it's genuine. I don't feel a genuine album from that. And again, everybody feels their own way about it. I don't have any. I'm not going to tell somebody they're wrong for liking it. I don't personally care.
You know,
but
that album actually has the most that Matt sings.
Oh, and I don't like Matt's vocals, so like,
that's what I was leading to. I was like, you
yeah,
probably just don't like Matt's gravelly voice
I like it on Charger. I like it when he does it in
because
small
it fits.
amounts.
It fits
Yeah,
Charger.
yeah. Well, yes, and like the new
Yeah,
song, it fits really well with the new song.
yeah.
But so with this album though, they did a lot of things. Like if I was Rancid, I would probably understand why an Outcome the Wolves is what it is.
Hmm.
But I would be the most proud of Life Won't Wait,
Yeah.
and that's all I'll say about it. There's a lot of different kinds of music on it. It's the one that if I was gonna give somebody that's 65 years old a Rancid record, I'd go here, start here. And
Life won't wait.
if you
Yeah.
like this, go backwards.
Yeah, if I had to show my grandma some punk rock and it had to be Rancid, it would probably be Life Won't Wait.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
100% would.
Yeah.
100% would, because you could start it off with some of the more chill songs and just work your way into some real punk
Yeah.
rock shit, and then by
Yeah.
the time you get there, she's already tapping her feet, bro. She's already sucked into the life, But then they
Yeah.
go, and in 2000 they put out the 2000 self-titled album, and it is straight up.
I think it goes hard. I
Okay,
really do.
so dude, I don't listen to it every day if you want to. It doesn't bother me.
No, I just think it's interesting someone not liking it.
Oh, dude, I don't not like it. I hate it. It's terrible. It is. I don't like. And the thing is that so the other day I was like doing this, working on my list, and I was like, dude, I have got to give this album like a fair shake.
Super F tier is what you gave it.
No, I was trying to give it a fair shake, dude. I was trying to give it like a real. I wanted to sit down and listen to it and like read the lyrics and go, okay, maybe I'm tripping, dude. Because in all fairness, it had been probably 10 years since I even put it on. I don't own a copy of it. I don't want to own a copy of it. When I bought it, when it came out, I
You
was
threw it away, didn't you?
well, listen to this, dude. I was 18 years old
Uh-huh.
and I bought it and I was like excited, like I can't really describe. Because I
Yeah.
had been into them at this point for like 4 years, and
Yeah.
I had gotten, and Out Come the Wolves, Life Won't Wait. And I thought, all right, man. And so, like, I was expecting something that sounded similar to an Out Come the Wolves and Life Won't Wait.
Yeah.
I was only 18. I was not 30. So I didn't hear Rancid from like, well, that's the thing is that all the guys that called them sellouts were 30.
Yeah.
So they were all these old dudes, and they were pissed off because they were playing reggae and dub and stuff. And it's like, well, then go listen to whatever you want to listen to. Like, why do you listen to this if you don't like it? Like, I don't do that. Here's a perfect example. My favorite band in the world, I don't even listen to this record because I don't like it. I don't talk about it unless I'm talking about it like them for this reason. Otherwise, I don't bring it up very often. But I went back and gave it a listen, and dude, it's terrible. Like,
you don't like Poison?
I hate that song.
What? Black Hawk Down?
I think that's the one that I do like.
A Black Derby Jacket?
I believe
Dead Bodies? That's good.
I don't. I mean, there's like, okay, here's the thing. There's like probably 4 or 5 songs on here that I like.
Okay, 5 out of 22 is pretty good though.
Are you serious? 17 skips is good to you, huh?
Okay, if it's on a playlist, then at least 5 of them being on a playlist, think about that.
Yeah, so I understand that, but like when you're comparing it to albums that have absolutely zero that I take off of it, it's hard. And I'm going pretty hard on the album, dude. Is it?
But out of every album, only skipping 17 songs, that's pretty good. Out of their whole discography, like.
I mean, there's more than that I skip, but not many. I probably skip like 22 or 23 maybe out of their whole discography. There's not many that I don't like. Yeah. It's all on this one album, which I honestly kind of like. I'd rather have it be one album that I go, yeah, I don't really care about that one.
It's and like the Beatles, that one album, I forget what it's called, but this is one Beatles album that everybody fucking hates. But nobody.
I don't like the Beatles, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, yeah.
You're like, this guy sucks. Like
this motherfucker. Nah.
So here's the thing, man. I'm going pretty hard on this record because I think it's kind of funny that people love it so much. Because I'll be honest with you, dude, I had no idea that was like a revered album until Rob brought it up a few weeks ago, and he told me like, man, that's crazy. People are gonna hate on you for not liking that, and I was like, really? Because in my group of people, none of us liked it. I don't have a single homeboy that likes that record. Like none of my buddies like it. Because we all thought we were going to get something that resembled an amalgamation of "And Out Come the Wolves" and "Life Won't Wait," and it was nothing like any of it. So
if you put it in that perspective, that makes a little more sense.
Mainly because it was out when it came out. I bought it off the shelf. Like I was waiting in line.
I guess it's different if you're like buying the music as it comes out. I guess
Yes,
it might be a little
that's
different.
probably where
Yeah.
the lack of interest comes from, I would say, is
Yeah.
because I bought it off the shelf. Like, I distinctly remember exactly where I was at when it came out. I was at Willowbrook Mall, and I was at a place called, it was outside the mall, it's across the street from the mall in the shopping center. As a matter of fact, I think it was called Blockbuster Music. I think that's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I was at the door at 9:45. At 10 o'clock, they opened. I walked in, I bought it, I paid, I got my car, and I left. I pulled over to a gas station, was pumping gas, opened up the seat. I'll never forget this. I put it in my car, and like 2 songs go, and I was like, all right, I can dig this. And then it just kept going. And I was like, could you play something with some rhythm? Like, can we get something that's like catchy?
So
And
it's
I
too
just
street punk for you.
no, because I listen to street punk, bro. I just don't need it from Rancid because that's not what they do. Like, I felt like
Yeah.
it. Well, okay, I
But
felt like it was fake.
okay.
I felt like it was really forced.
Well, I guess you could say that because they're older at that point, right? It's
That's what I'm saying. Like, look
2000.
how punk I can be. It's like we don't need you to do that, bro. Quit
Well, if
listening,
you also think about it, they've made it at this point.
right?
They're not
And they're getting
street punks
called
anymore.
sellouts and posers now.
They're
And
not
then they
street
do
punks.
that album, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at how punk you are,
Yeah. So I don't know.
dude. I can make an argument for this record not being good.
I get it, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I still like it a
So
lot.
no. And here's where I have to what's it called? Compromise a little bit.
hmm
When I did my thing, I genuinely, if you would have just asked me a month ago, hey, how many songs on that record do you like? I wouldn't have even blinked. I'd have been like 0, and I would have kept it pushing, bro. But when I listened to it, I think I put like 5 on like my liked list.
That's good.
Because there are a handful of songs, and I
Yeah.
believe that if I was to keep listening to it, there were probably more and more that I liked about it.
Yeah.
I never gave it the
That's the
chance that it
thing.
deserved
You
because
gotta
I
listen
didn't
to
like it.
albums like multiple times before you.
I don't do that, bro.
It.
If I don't like it, I don't like it. Like, I don't need to be
Yeah.
convinced to like something. I never understood that. Like, hey, man, dude, I'm really not into onions on my cheeseburger. Yeah, but if you eat it 500 times, you'll like it, bro. Why the fuck would I do that?
Well, they say if you eat like broccoli 3 times or something like that, then you'll know if you really don't like it.
Yeah, but I knew the first time I ate it that it sucked ass. Why am I gonna keep eating it?
Try
Like-
it again, motherfucker.
It's like, hey, man, I'm a heterosexual male, but if you suck a dude's dick 4 or 5 times, you'll be into it. You're like, oh, well, that's all it takes. Cool. Come here, Brian.
Maybe you're into it.
Yo, what if that's what it was, bro? You just had it dried a few times.
You
You're
just had. I think that's everything. You just have to try
you
it.
know
a few
what?
times
You might
and
be right, bro. We might all just be gay. Who knew?
Just
Shit,
gotta try
hey.
it. Have you tried it?
So then we get into what I consider like,
They're old. Rancid's getting old. That's what I think.
oh no, I didn't. That's not how I felt about it. But I mean, that could be the case.
I think it shows their age. I think Indestructible and Let the Dominoes Fall really shows
What-
that they're getting older.
explain that.
Like Let the Dominoes Fall has a lot of acoustic on there, and they even have an entire version of the album
Okay.
that's straight acoustic.
That's
and
not where I thought you were going, but I do agree with that.
I think it's also poppier. It really is.
Okay.
And I think it's more clean. Like I'm looking at it right now. I don't see any little marker that says explicit. Like I'm on.
Oh,
like,
I wasn't even thinking about that,
I don't
bro.
even
This is
see
why
it.
I love talking to people because I don't think about things the same way as you do necessarily. So that's
like
awesome.
like they got older. In 2009, how old are they? They're probably like 40.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, that's not old.
push it. No,
but,
it's not.
like,
But it
for
is.
punk
But
rock,
it is. Yeah, it is pushing it though. I mean,
Yeah.
um,
And they can't continue to play the same aggressive like music all the time. So of course they're gonna start
yeah.
doing
Well,
more
they have
acoustic stuff.
They're so good at writing music that it's easy
Yeah.
for them to just write awesome
They
music.
can do
but-
anything. Tim wrote for Pink. He got a Grammy. Tim wrote for Jimmy Cliff. He got a Grammy. Like he can do anything. So like I think that really shows their versatility.
So my thing is that the opening tracks on these, I always thought I liked Indestructible. Like, I mean, I do like it. I love that album. But like, I always thought that the opening track just gave me like it gets me going. Dude, no, man. East Bay Night is a
What's the
better
opening?
song.
Indestructible. Yeah, now that I think about it, because right when you pop that CD in or whatever,
Yeah,
East Bay Night,
yeah.
like
They both kind of start off
it's
with a
rad.
similar thing, right?
yeah,
But I like East Bay Night better, and I think that they're very similar in tone, in length, in style, and then like you said, they're 6 years apart, so you do get the acoustic versions of those songs. You had a lot of people doing side projects and things over the years.
This is when Rancid starts to take a lot of time in between albums, because beforehand they're doing 1 to 2 years.
Yeah,
and this is when they really started doing like taking their time, and it makes sense. I mean,
as you age, you start to slow down and enjoy things like family. And Lars had kids that are growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, You have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Like some of my top songs on this album were like Liberty and Freedom, Civilian Ways, you know, The Highway. Like these are all like
The
really,
Highway is one of my favorite songs of all
yeah,
time.
like kind of gets me teary eyed a little bit. That's
There's a
just the
lot.
way things are. Like that's just a straight up reggae song.
Yeah. Well,
Like
this
these are
album is so good, bro.
good songs. There's really good messages on these songs too,
Yes.
actually.
Well, they're maturing at this point. They're
Yeah.
now they're like a decade or two into their sobriety. They're living legends at this point. They're no longer concerned. Like the whole
Yeah.
idea of putting out an album like 2000 is out the window because they finally
Yeah.
decided not to be
They're just
concerned
doing
with.
what they want. They really
Correct.
are doing
And that's what
anything
they
they
should have.
want.
And if I'm wrong and I find out that they just really had to put out that album in 2000, that's what they wanted to put out, dude, cool, I can accept that. I just don't care for the songs as much. But it felt
Yeah.
like they were trying to do something to show somebody what they were capable of
Yeah.
when that wasn't necessary to anybody but people that don't really matter. And
I can see that.
and but this is when they started to sound like Rancid again to me. With Indestructible had some weird songs on it. Let the Dominoes Fall is closer to Outcome the Wolves than Indestructible is, in my opinion.
A little bit, but I actually think the closest is Honor Is All We Know. Because I remember I was starting high school when that came out. So I had never lived through being a Rancid fan and being like, new Rancid, holy shit.
Yeah.
So this came out and I went, holy shit. Because that first song, Back Where I Belong,
I'm back.
It's such like a
Been gone way too long and I'm back where I
belong.
Bro, don't make me start singing. I'm not a good singer, so
it's such like he means it. He's back. Like
yeah.
They did let the dominoes fall. They were softer, but boom, Rancid's fucking back. This album is closer to Outcome the Wolves in so many ways. And if you look, it literally says ... Honor Is All We Know, just
Dude,
like ... and Outcome the Wolves. Like this is their second and Outcome the Wolves, in my opinion.
Okay, so
because it's got reggae, like ska songs on there. Like
here's the thing, dude. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, because you are so much younger than me, how you feel about these albums. Because in my circles, I get crap all the time because I love these two records, both of them. I love both of these records, dude. And so I was talking to my buddy Rob, who's closer to my age, and he wasn't feeling them as much. Yeah. He doesn't even put them in the same, like, I rank those different because they're not really like. And
I've heard people say the same.
And I don't.
I like it. I know. I love it. Fucking words to the shit.
Honor Is All We Know. I think. Let's see. Let me look at Troublemaker real quick. Ghost of a Chance, Telegraph. Oh man, an intimate close-up of a street punk troublemaker. Are you kidding me? That song is so beautiful.
See, I didn't listen to this album as much as Honor Is All We Know.
Okay.
But when I listened to it, I was like, okay, I know what this is. Like, I didn't get any curveballs. I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely songs in here that I'm like, I look at the name and I'm like, yeah, I don't really remember that, but I guarantee if I press played on it, I would be like, yeah, I know
there's a few of those.
Because this is the only album that I've been like, I just gotta listen to it more, honestly.
Dude, have you heard? I like Bower Rock and Roll really a lot.
I like Molly Make Up Your Mind. It's really poppy, but
I need to listen.
Molly Make Up Your Mind, Molly. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a great song, dude.
Telegraph
I like
Avenue.
Ghost of a Chance. Telegraph Avenue.
Ghost of a Chance is my top one, which is actually the single they released before they released this album. And I remember the video for it. They're like in Matt's garage or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, look at these old motherfuckers.
I mean,
Tim's beard is like at this point all the way out to here.
That guy's out of his mind with that beard, bro.
He shaved it.
He trimmed it. He didn't shave it. It's still on there.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So I think that the one that I'm going to get crap for ranking it as high as I do is going to be Honor Is All We Know, because I'm going to make this video and people are going to hate me so much for it, I think. But
it's a good album.
I think the album is a great album, dude. And that's just when they regress. They've got modern technology and modern recording styles and equipment, but with like the writing style of And Out Come the Wolves. So they've got back to how they have gang vocals. They've got all the melodic stuff. They've got the street punk stuff, the ska, the reggae, the keyboard stuff. He's full on hanging with the Interrupters at this point. So they're back to that, like, I don't know what to call it. Like it's it's not a guitar, it's a keyboard. It's
The offbeat,
yeah,
like
thank you.
ska,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like on
Offbeat's
the
the word I was
2 and
looking for.
4, yeah. Bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
bang. Yeah.
And so I think with Troublemaker, it's like they had something going with Honor Is All We Know, and I think they tried to recreate that with Troublemaker, and
I
they
can
just
see that.
didn't quite get there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not quite as good, but it is
yeah.
good. Because I don't think they
I
have like
I
even Rancid
100%
2000.
agree with that.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to look at it thinking maybe I need to go listen to it again tonight and just kind of
Man, I gotta
see
make
what
it to your
songs.
list now.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun, bro. Okay, so then we
Mm.
get to the new song.
Dude,
Honor's always, bro.
I was so scared. When you
Bro.
texted me this song, I was like, fuck, this could be really bad. This could be
were
awful.
you really scared,
I really was.
dude? So
And I
woke
listened
up,
to it and I went, yes! Like I
bro.
was so fucking out. I was at work and I was just like, dude, listen. Oh my god.
So I woke up and I got a thing, and it's like bing, and it's like Rancid puts out new song, and I'm like in bed, bro, like 8:30 in the morning, like this, and I'm like, what?
It's not even
And I was like,
working.
dude, I literally shot up in bed and was like, this is gonna be an awesome day. And then I was like, oh, dude, because I was not worried at all, bro. I wasn't scared at all, man. I knew my dudes would come through. I'll tell you this though, it's better than I could have ever imagined.
Yes,
It's so good.
I listened to it like 4 times in my car when it came out, like on my drive home, and I was just like, yeah, this is better than Troublemaker. Like,
Yes,
like this.
dude.
If the
it's
whole album sounds like this one song, it's gonna
oh,
be fucking amazing.
if the whole album sounds like that one, okay, here's what I'll say. If the whole album is of the same quality as that one song,
Hmm.
this will be my second favorite album because
Oh,
that
yeah.
song is so good.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you
Well,
this, I don't
They took
often
another 6 years to do this, by the way.
well, they were doing so many things though.
Yeah.
Lars's life was kind of like getting
Yeah.
crazy. Matt really wanted to have Charger going. I think Tim was doing
Tim was recording. He was doing a lot of stuff.
producing and doing
Yeah.
all this crazy stuff, and and I honestly didn't think they were ever going to come up with an album. And I remember at my birthday, well, I thought they were done. I really did.
If Troublemaker was their last album, I would have been very sad. Actually,
Oh,
that's
really?
not
No,
a
that
good
album's
album
fire,
to
bro.
end on.
I like that album. I mean, I'd rather them end on that than 2000, bro. Like, I mean, that's my opinion. But so here's the thing, though. It's like this year, my birthday's in March, right?
Yeah.
And I remember telling my wife, and I was like, man, it'd be awesome this year. And she's like, what? I was like, if I could get a Rancid album this summer, man, that would make my year better. And she was
Here
like,
it comes.
yeah,
June
she
2nd,
goes, yeah, maybe they will. And I was like, nah, they're not gonna put one out. It'll be 3 more years before they do it. And then when this song dropped, dude, I'm not gonna even front, bro. I shed some tears, dude. I was so happy, and it sounded so good.
The maximum they'll ever let you wait is 6 years, I'm thinking, because that's the biggest gap they had before. So
Yeah.
if it's over 6 years, I guess we gotta worry.
This is their last album, bro.
I think there might be another.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I'll say it like this: if it is another one, it'll be way, 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 way faster than 6 years because Tim will be over 60 in 6 years.
Can you imagine a 70-year-old Tim if he makes it?
Can you imagine? I mean, I can't imagine the guy's 57 playing this because he is.
Well, he's healthy now.
That's
you gotta
true.
think about it. I think when he was doing all that shit and like being a junkie, he was early 20s.
But bro, that's how many years ago? He's been healthy, dude.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying like he could live longer than we think.
Live longer is one thing, bro, but playing this kind of music, touring, and playing,
Yeah, I mean, I already have issues like with pains right in here.
I've got carpal tunnel in both my hands.
Just because I grew up, I grew up in the digital age, so computer games and shit like that, paired with playing bass, it's just like I can't even imagine like how much ibuprofen he's got to take before a show.
So, okay, do you think that Rancid is the simultaneously like most snubbed band and also the most influential band of that era?
Yes, so they are, to me, they are the Beatles of punk rock.
Aside
from the Clash. The Clash and Rancid are like
stop, dude. The Clash sucks, man.
No,
Clash
man.
is terrible. The Clash
we
is
would
awful.
not have Rancid without the Clash.
So what? What does that mean? That just
I guess you're right. You know what? I take it back. Fuck the Clash.
No, but like, I mean, I understand that statement. Like, I get it. Like, we wouldn't
Yeah.
have this without that, but that doesn't make this better. It just makes that
Yeah, sure.
first.
I don't like the Ramones. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I like the
No,
Ramones, but I won't listen to the Ramones like I listen to Rancid.
see,
That's
like
just not gonna
see,
happen.
that's where when we both got to like the Ramones in the Clash. I went, I'll take the Ramones, and you're like, I'll take the Clash, and that's cool. I
Because
don't listen to
okay,
Ramones very often.
every Ramones song is do 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 do.
Yeah, I like their song.
Yeah. Their song, their
Yeah,
one song,
yeah, I
their
like that song they put
20-minute
out.
song.
Obviously, and Outcome the Wolves is like their best,
It's
right?
it's their it's yeah, it is.
So
Because I'll tell you this, I was playing a show on Friday, and uh, on the overheads they're playing, background music. They're playing Rancid. I was setting up my bass and stuff, and I was listening to, and the whole album was playing, and I was just like playing along with the bass, and I was like, you know what, this kind of is like the best Rancid album. Like, yeah, I have Let's Go tatted on my arm, and yeah, it's like my favorite, but
well, I mean, I
and
have this on my throat, but it's not my
yeah,
favorite Rancid
but
album.
like the best is gotta be in Out Come the Wolves. So if I was gonna recommend Rancid to someone, not a grandma, just a normal
Yeah,
person, like it would be in Out Come the Wolves.
it's the one record that I sell the most at my shop.
Of course,
Like out of all the records,
of
not just
course,
Rancid, just in general.
yeah,
Like
of course.
I always have copies of it in stock.
Shit, I'll
What
buy it. I don't even have it.
you know what I'm saying? Like one of my buddies
Yeah,
came in and who doesn't even really listen to punk that much, and he was like, "Hey man,
yeah,
he goes, I didn't realize how good this record is. You got a copy of it?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I
it's
do."
great.
Yeah, it's good all around, man. And I am happy that they do what they do. I'm glad that they've got the sound that they've got. It's the
It
perfect
changed my
sound for
life.
me.
Yeah,
Like I don't think that I was built to jump in with like the unseen. I needed Rancid to get me in and get me
yeah,
listening to
yeah,
bands like The Virus
yeah,
and Grimple and all these bands
yeah.
that I love now.
Of course, like it's the same way. Like, I mean, I grew up on Rancid, so like I kind of always had that starting point. But I guess I could say the same for like NoFX. Like if I didn't listen to NoFX, I wouldn't like Lagwagon or like No Use for a Name.
Yeah, I don't like either of those bands. I don't
I
dislike
don't.
them. I
I
just
don't.
don't know about them very much. I don't
Yeah,
listen to them very much.
I'm not like, oh, I fucking love them,
I was
but
always an
like,
Epitaph guy, bro. Like if you give me
yeah,
I'm an
I'm gonna
Epitaph
be
dude. Like
honest. Me too. Epitaph and Hellcat, like they're
yeah,
just
Hellcat
they're good.
even more so.
Yeah,
But
just
dude,
yeah.
are you a big NoFX fan?
I would say so. Yeah,
Me too. I've always considered them one of my favorites, right? And then the
yeah.
other day I was listening to their records, and I don't remember why I was on their albums, but I was listening to a podcast with Fat Mike, and it got me in the mood for NoFX.
I
And
don't know
then,
why I was listening to this fucking band.
well, I mean, usually I have to make time to listen to
No,
music,
I
so
know.
there's got to
I'm
be a
just fucking
reason.
around.
But I noticed that there's not a single NoFX album that I could call a 10.
uh, hmm.
Every single album has something I don't like on it, but their highs are like
Huh.
really, really high. Like their good
That's
songs are so good that
yeah. I
it's like,
disagree with you on that too. Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I think White Trash, Two Hebes, and a Bean, and Punk and Drublics are their 10s.
Yeah, I don't think either of those even touch a 10.
What?
I think they're great albums, but that's not even my favorite NoFX albums.
Really?
Pump Up the Volume and Wolves in Wolves
Okay,
Clothing would be
so
my
you're more
favorites.
of like a 2000 and later NoFX fan.
I bought NoFX records around the same time I bought Rancid records, and I bought Punk and Drublic when it was pretty new still.
Okay,
When that White Trash came out, I bought that new. I love those
92.
records. I need to go
Yeah,
back and listen to them.
they're
Punk
good.
and Drublic has never been one that resonated with me very much. Like I liked it because I was supposed to like it.
I feel like it's a punk rock anthem, so you have to like it.
Yeah, it's like I liked it because
The
I was
whole
supposed to like
album.
it,
Yeah,
and like I still like it. I still own it. I listen
yeah.
to it fairly often.
I
Uh,
get it. It's not
But
my favorite.
but Pump Up the Volume came out, and
Really,
it really just stuck with me, man. And
I don't like that album.
but even on that one, there's songs I skipped though. There's not a single album that has a song that's like because a 10 has to be
Okay,
no skips. You cannot have a 10
yeah.
album and have a skip on it
If you're gonna say it, yeah. If we're gonna talk like that,
because that's perfect.
then
That's what a 10
then
is. 10's a
the
perfect.
only perfect one I would have to say is White Trash.
I need to go back. It's been a long
That's the
time since
only
I
one I
listened to.
don't skip.
So let me go back and look at that real quick before we get off here because that's the only one that I haven't heard in a long time actually.
I
No.
also don't skip any songs on Heavy Petting Zoo.
Okay, so now that I'm thinking of dude, so okay, quick story. When I was in like 10th grade, I went to school and they were like, "Hey, I had like I was in trouble a lot, so I had like these trouble classes, and they're like, "Hey, bring some stuff to school to show, and like we're gonna talk about yourself and like let the people get to know
Yeah.
you." And so I brought like a skateboard and like I brought a brown bag, and they were like, "What's in the bag?" And I was like, "Oh," and as a joke, I pulled out cigarettes, and they were like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, I like to smoke cigarettes a lot. And the teachers were just like shaking her head. And I was like, but I like music. And she's like, okay. And I was like, I got some records. And she's like, oh, like I had vinyl. And she's like, okay, well, what do you have? And I pulled out Rancid and Out Come the Wolves. And she goes, okay, I've heard of that. I don't know what it sounds like, but I've seen it. And I said, oh, and there's a band called NoFX. And I pulled out Heavy Petting Zoo. And he's 69 in the sheep on there.
Yeah.
And I got kicked out of school for that shit.
Yeah, he's got the sheep like in he's like fingering the sheep.
No, the one that I had, he was 69 in it.
Really?
Yeah, there's 2 covers.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
But so if I was really, 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 really thinking about it, I actually think Ribbed is probably my favorite NoFX album.
Really?
Dude, that album fucking rips,
yeah,
dude.
I've heard a lot of people say that actually, and I do like it.
That album rips,
I
dude.
do like
Green
it.
Corn, dude, that album's so freaking good,
What
dude.
I really like about NoFX is that every one of their albums will have a completely off-genre song. So like,
that's the skip for me.
Really?
Almost every time. Turn that shit off, man. Give me my fucking band back. Dude, I'm a curmudgeonly old fuck, man. I'm set in my ways. Oh man. But like, they're so good at music. They're so good at music, bro. Fat Mike is so underrated.
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole, but yeah.
Well, yeah. But he's getting kind of nice in his old age. And he's all like coming out as like, I don't know what to call him, whatever he is, but he's into like some weird freaky shit.
He's a cross-dresser.
Good for him, man.
He's into BDSM.
Yeah, I mean, well, now that he's like comfortable in his own skin, he's becoming nicer. And I'm like, good for you. I wish you'd done this shit 15, 20 years ago, man. Like, I don't give a shit what he does. It doesn't bother me any.
He's sober now, I think. So that also
helps a lot. It helps a lot. But awesome, man. Well, Rancid is my favorite band of all time. And we'll talk about them almost any time for any reason. So thanks again for your time. And everybody, we'll see y'all next time on the next punk rock review and telling stories. And I'm gonna get some footage and some music of this fella's band, and we're gonna get that going. We want to talk about that later, and I might get you.
Yeah, hopefully I can get back on whenever we're finish recording. Maybe.
Bro, you have an open invitation. Anytime you're doing something and you want to like talk about it, just remind me, and we'll jump on. I'm pretty flexible at times, so like anytime you want, I want to be helpful if I can, in whatever way that is, whatever capacity that is. Big or small, I want to be. I really enjoyed your music.
It helps you out too. You don't have to find a guest, you know.
I mean, in all sincerity, that's true. But like, I really did truly love your band. I thought it was great music, and I was so excited when I heard it. I thought, damn, I haven't been this excited about a local punk band in a while, man.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah.
I've been listening to punk rock music in Houston, Texas, since like '96 locally, like you know, smaller shows. So I've been around a little while, man, and I've heard a lot of great bands. I've heard a lot of really bad bands. I've played in a few bands, and it's been a while since I heard one that I thought, wow, I would listen to this like all the time.
This is like technically my first band.
That's crazy.
The first one that actually
pretty charismatic too.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah,
he seems cool. I don't better talk to him at all. Your drummer's pretty quiet.
Yeah, he is. You know, there's a lot of groups where you could be like, one guy's kind of a bad apple, but I honestly feel like this group of guys, you know, it's just the 3 of us. I think like we're all just pretty genuine dudes.
I was gonna say it helps that you have 3, not 5. That it reduces the potential of disaster. All right, folks, we'll see y'all later. Don't hang up yet. And all right, guys, we'll see y'all next time. Peace.